Morning at NTV.
A very good morning. I'm glad you're still with us. For those that are just joining us, wherever you are watching across the globe, this is Morning at NTV, and you find us at the Kickstarter segment where we are discussing the road to the elections for the opposition Forum for Democratic Change. This is an opposition party that finds itself in, well, beleaguered spaces, especially in light of what's happening within the party. I've just been told that yesterday party chairpersons from across the country were in Kampala to deliver a petition against a conference that is being organized by the party chairman, Waswa Birigwa. There's also a conference, or a delegates conference for that matter, that is being planned under the auspices of the party constitution on the 19th of September. The goings on indicate that the positions and the politics of the day should be taking shape ahead of 2026. People are seeking leadership, and of course some will be losing their seats. Whether the conferences are held within the right parameters as prescribed by the Constitution remains to be seen. Party leaders themselves are not clear on what aspects of the Constitution stand or support a particular moves. With me in the studio is the chairperson of Kasese Municipality, FDC chapter. He's a former member of parliament, but also a stalwart within the opposition party, Robert Centenary. He will be speaking to us and giving us perspective on the latest within the party, but also what is the way forward ahead of 2026. Honorable Robert Centenary, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Good morning, viewers. I'm glad to be on NTV once again.
You're most welcome.
Discussing critical matters of national importance, especially regarding my political party that I love dearly and took part in founding.
All right. Later, we shall be joined by Salaam Musumba, who is the acting spokesperson, apparently, as we speak. She's also a political animal who's been around Uganda, and one of those that whose opinion does matter. She'll be joining us very shortly. Let me begin with Robert Centenary to give us an overview of where the FDC is in as far as the last 72 hours are concerned. Over to you, Honorable.
Well, thank you. I want to make a clarification. I'm not the acting spokesperson, but I speak for the party because I'm duty-bound by this constitution as a member who loves this country to always speak good about the party. Because first of all, as a professional marketeer, when you have a product and you are the one who is talking ill about it in the market, then don't expect clients or customers to buy that product. And our goal as a political party is to mobilize and garner critical mass that should enable us to oust the regime, because our biggest goal is to capture power. But if we reflect ourselves in the public domain as a disorganized, disgruntled lot, nobody is going to trust us with this country. So the faster we organize ourselves and put our house to order, the better, because already Byabakama has released his roadmap.
Yep.
And we want to compete with other political players for the same space. Like you've watched, the president of NUP is already traversing the country trying to garner support for their political party, and for us, we are still fighting and tearing one another in-house. The earlier we did that, the better for us. Otherwise, I think we really need to organize ourselves, lest we put ourselves in a destructive mode. And Ugandans are not going to wait for us. They will move on. If we cannot sort ourselves out, they will move on and move. There are very many political parties in this country. And we should show cause why we should be the best political party for Ugandans to take over this country.
All right. There is the voice of a marketeer. Interesting. Let's welcome Salaam Musumba to the program. A very good morning, Madam.
Yes, good morning to you.
The Forum for Democratic Change finds itself in a quagmire.
All right.
You are one of the leading voices
Yes.
and figures.
Yes, and I'm a founder member.
And a founder member.
Yes, I am.
Right now, you must be looking at the party with a pensive lens.
No, it's not a pensive lens.
What is it?
I'm looking at this party with proper lenses. Looking at the happenings in my party, looking at the actors in the party, looking at the constitution of the party, and I can tell you that it's a party in distress, self-inflicted distress, and the actors are seated right here with me, because the Honorable Centenary contested in the last elections as an independent.
True.
And for sure, when you are an independent, you do not claim the same status as people who have kept in there. So his woos and cries to the public that he loves the party, he doesn't. Come on.
Okay.
Come on. And you know, I just can't stand deception.
All right,
I can't stand deception, especially when people do not look themselves in the mirror and know how much damage they've done to it at individual level. And then walk here to tell lies to the world that they love the party. If you love the party, then you stick with the constitution of the party. You don't break it in and out. And so, the party that I talk for and I love and have invested 20 years in is a party that in its preamble said that aware that we've gone through turmoil in our political history, we therefore formed this party to cure the defects of governance in the past. And what you see is a replay of that. It's a replay of that, and the actors walk into a studio and tell lies with a straight face. And that I can't accept.
Robert Centenary, before I ask any other questions, the whole discussion has been flipped on me, and I would love you to counter. You've been accused of telling lies.
Yes.
The facts are clear. You contested as an independent.
Yes, I don't dispute
And
that.
then here you are. You have claimed you love the party. It seems
When
like
did he start?
It seems like you
And stop and start again.
You shift allegiance according
Depending on the weather
circumstances
and the money.
weather. You're a typical politician.
Yes.
True.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Leaving a trail of blood in Kasese.
I was here
right.
listening to somebody who joined parliament when I was still a student. And at that, I consider her seniority to be much higher than mine.
Definitely.
And my only disappointment is the combative mood in which she has started this, but me, I'm not here to fight with her. With due respect, it is true I contested as an independent, arising from an acrimony that we had in the party back then, after the 2016 delegates conference, that gave rise to a new leadership of now Power as party president, Nandala as secretary general, and the very people who brought these people, whom personally I resisted, are the ones here on the televisions, including her. I don't know if I will call her my sister or my mother, but she's a colleague in the party.
Grandmother.
Okay, grandmother. Okay. Are the ones telling us how bad they are now preaching to Ugandans, how bad the people they brought. I even saw the Honorable Mwizuchi telling Ugandans that he's going to go around the country apologizing to the delegates for misleading them that actually Muntu was the worst person that they preached, that actually Paul and Nandala are worse than Muntu. And the moral question has been, for how long will you continue misleading us? Should we wait for another lot that you're going to bring, and thereafter you're also going to regret having brought that other lot? Now, me contesting as an independent was a choice. I could have gone to NUP, DP, NRM, or any other political party. But because I love the FDC, I did not want to get out of a marriage, let me give that example, and then get into another marriage. I decided to remain single. And after reconfiguring myself, and even during that marriage, that being single, it is on record. If you go to Kasese, they will tell you that the only position where Centenary campaigned as an independent is the one for Member of Parliament. The rest of the positions, he campaigned for FDC flag bearers. Not only campaigned, but financed. I paid nomination fees for candidates of FDC. I printed posters for candidates of FDC. Those who wished to come and participate in my meetings of campaign, I allowed them to campaign. On the contrary, I really am at pain speaking this. You know, the Right Honorable Kadaga was our speaker. When I went to her office after the election, she told me, I have floored your deputy president even when Justin Lumumba and the regime had given her lots of money, pickups and all these things to campaign against me and defeat me. Now the moral question is, the one who remains in the party and is financed by the regime to go and campaign, and the one who contests as an independent and continues to support the candidates of the party, who has a high moral ground than the other? Yes, Salaam,
Listen to me. Listen to me.
If you are coming...
I Salaam,
yes,
have contested for elections since 1993. I've campaigned for every election. Every election. And I'm still going on. And I will contest.
Go ahead, it's your constitutional right.
And therefore, you cannot try to rationalize your violation of the Constitution to a person who maintains the Constitution of the party.
By the way, let me even make this clear. This very Constitution allows people, when you secede, it gives procedures on how you come back to the party.
Can you guide us on that article?
I wrote, she knows, let her even read it, because she may think I'm reading a wrong article.
She's your
when it talks about membership,
do not direct her.
It talks, you know, even fools grow up. Even if she's my senior, sometimes people may want to just come and lambast people.
Respectfully read to us that provision that allows you to...
It allows me to, first of all, write to the Secretary General. If she disputes, she will say it. Write to the Secretary General, requesting to be readmitted. And it says, you can only cede to be a member of the party when you die, when you voluntarily leave, or when you compete. Or when you go into an election under a different political party, or you contest as an independent. That is the only article of the Constitution that I have offended. I contested as an independent for my own reasons, and I know that the ground, actually the reasons why I even contested, the person who even took the candidate after me raising the red flag, the candidate of the FDC, is now in NRM. And me, I said, I am not going to go into a primary election where I have picked my intelligence information that government is sponsoring a candidate with a lot of money, and I'm not going to participate in that. I never even attempted to contest.
When you reveal what you are revealing, it comes back to the question that began this entire storm within the Forum for Democratic Change. Accusations by the likes of Semoju Nganda against Nandala Mafabi and Patrick Amriat, the president, of being supported and receiving money from the regime or players within the regime, including the president himself, who is the chairman of the party and president. Honorable Centenary has just alluded to another accusation that borders on the same, like Semuju labels against Nandala Mafabi and Paul, that you benefited from Honorable Lumumba's support because you were pitted as a favorite for them or actors to beat Kadaga.
Let me
clarify on that.
I will tell you this. I have competed for elections since the CA. And I have won some and lost some.
No doubt.
My contesting in 2021 was a continuation of a political journey to provide an alternative to the leadership of Kamali. And I did. I didn't win. I went to court. I went to court and I was prevailed over by the whole of the Soga leadership, the church, the religious leaders. Said, look, enough. You're becoming, you're causing a lot of stress within the community because we love you both. And that's how it ended. For him to allege that I received money and resources from other sources, no. I have always... Here. Yes, I am.
Would you have some evidence?
But listen, this is not even what brought me.
I've told you.
It is hearsay. It is hearsay.
You're peddling hearsay.
Yeah, he is.
He has just categorically said.
He peddles hearsay.
You prove it.
He can't. He
Maybe
can't.
that.
He can't. You see,
when
when you peddle...
television.
Actually, one of the vehicles she drives was a donation from COVID.
Is it?
Yes, yes. I'll give you.
Please do. Because
but the article you asked for is 12. It talks about secession. Do you want me to read it?
No, I want us to stay on the topic of these allegations.
Well,
yeah.
I want to invite myself. Listen, I want to invite myself back.
Okay.
I want to invite myself back with him, with that proof to the people of Uganda.
No
Okay.
problem.
Yes.
I'll bring it.
Please
Oh,
do.
for the benefit of the viewers and my producer, Salaam Musumba has just pledged to reappear on the show.
Yes.
Could be
With Centenary.
With Centenary. So we are
To
expecting
prove.
Centenary. You come with your evidence.
By the way, even have more.
No.
No.
Don't. You come with evidence.
Don't meander.
Next time.
Bring
next show.
the evidence of
problem,
COVID
no problem.
and present it.
No problem.
Okay?
All right.
Thank
So
you.
let's dwell, or rather keep ourselves on that particular foundation of allegations and accusations of receiving money from the regime. Ahead of 2026,
Yes.
it's healthy for officials and party leaders within any one setting to begin to shove and position themselves ahead of that. So we know...
That's what political parties are made for.
That's what they do.
Okay?
And what we are
That's
seeing
the
right
license
now,
we have. We do politics.
what we are seeing
We
right
do
now
politics.
is just about the same process. Everyone is trying to position themselves
Yes.
ahead of that, and
Yes.
it has caused a bit of a furor. When it comes to the delegates conference and any other gathering by any one official, including
Yes.
the party chairman and then calls from the Secretary General, where are we on what? What does the Constitution say about gatherings, including one that is supposed to ensure that the election of the National Executive Committee is done?
I think you've lost the process. How does the Constitution share the power in the party? It shares the power between offices of the chair and of the presidency. And so the organs that run the party are largely four: the National Executive Committee and the Working Committee of the National Executive Committee. Those are led by the president. The National Council and the National Delegates Conference, those are managed by the chairman.
By the chairman.
And we did that in the Constitution to avoid internal dictatorship. We were taking lessons from UPC, lessons from DP, all parties that had had issues within themselves.
NRM had no lessons to offer?
No, it started when we started. It started when we started, and we were all coming out of the movement system. So NRM is a creation of the Political Parties and Organizations Act when the space was opened up to go to multi-party politics. And so this Constitution the one that is being followed in executing the mandates, the various mandates of the different offices, is very clear. And what is happening right now is a clear violation of the party constitution. There is only one delegates conference. And that delegates conference can only be called by the party chair, nobody else. You can also look in the history of the party and know that this is not the first national delegates conference, or this is not the first election. So what we are dealing with is a group of people that are trying their best to overrun the party and even overthrow the constitution. And they're doing it with such viciousness that you wonder what happened. We are accused of supporting
when
colleagues.
You say we and they, let's be very clear on who you are.
We, the leadership. We, the leadership, because I mean the leadership.
That includes you, Patrick Amriat.
The entire leadership.
The entire leadership, yes. Right now.
We are accused of not performing according to our mandates. By ourselves. This group, this group.
Let's be very clear, because it's in the papers.
It's not just in the papers. The problem started with the National Executive Committee. During the Muntu time and during Dr. Besige's time, National Executive Committee met every week. And the understanding was that if you don't spend time discussing, you'll spend time fighting. And so we met every week. And I've been in that party from day one. During Patrick Amriat Oboy's time, we have been meeting every fortnight, every 2 weeks. We last met on 16th June 2023. Effectively, the party president disabling one organ of the party, and a critical one.
Does he have the mandate to disable?
He does not have any mandate to disable. It is to able and enable the party to function. And so if he does not call NEC and he does not even allow the deputies to do so, then the party gets into political constipation like you'll see now. And so I can tell you that the party dysfunctionality is leading us to this.
One thing
it is very clear where the weak link is, where the problem starts with. If, for instance, we went back into the National Executive Committee, we would not be having this conversation here, because we would have a platform in which to correct ourselves. Now, because that platform under him has been blocked, we are activating other platforms provided for in the Constitution to find a remedy.
Honorable Centenary has poured scorn on what you're saying.
It's okay.
But what we see as people watching from the outside is a critical failure of leadership at Forum for Democratic Change.
Very right.
One thing that the leaders are succeeding at is the blame game.
No,
to tell the world.
We are finding solutions. It's because you are one-eyed in this matter.
I'm giving you perspective.
Okay.
One eye is also perspective.
One eye.
Yeah,
is the two.
No doubt about it. And then the tendency to tell the country, or those that are watching from the outside, that our problems are a result of this, and the other. And you're not actually creating a direction on how to solve this particular issue. That's where the failure of leadership comes.
We are finding solutions, but those solutions must be found within the Constitution. You don't create solutions outside your mandate.
Respond to the submission,
for.
You know,
and perhaps also redirect me.
It's very painful that leaders will come and start pointing fingers at one another in a platform like this.
Yeah. It is the the
platforms which she said she's my grandmother. Which she has, she says she's activating. I don't know which platforms those are, but I want to tell the nation the National Council of the 28th, which actually I saw her painfully addressing the media, giving a brief on the resolutions that were, of the resolutions of the National Council. And I saw Honorable Gunzuli actually trying to correct her, especially on the one of the elections, because I think her heart was not at peace to talk about that one. Some of the members, actually the chief petitioner, did not even attend that National Council. And the other aggrieved parties also did not attend that National Council, which was apparently one of the ways that we were supposed to resolve our internal issues. But the last NEC meeting she's talking about of the 16th of June, I happened to be at the party headquarters. It actually ended late, probably at around 9 p.m. What happened in that meeting? My grandmother was even having a bottle of waraji in her hand, making a lot of noise, shouting at the top of her voice, and almost went physical with one of the NEC members. If I am lying, she will tell us. And that is the twist that the NEC meetings had actually taken. And then she comes back here to say that the party president has refused to call for NEC meetings. And, well, I don't know whether if she were the party president, should be comfortable to continue calling for meetings where people are drunk, people are fighting each other, people are shouting at one another, and you expect to have solutions in such a kind of a meeting. For me, I want us to be honest in the way we are doing our things. I have gray hair now. I'm not a young boy anymore. I have gray hair. And I think I exercise some level of maturity in the way I do my things, regardless of whether people want to respect me or not. But I want us to be, they have said some of us are dishonest, but the highest level of dishonesty comes from some people who come here on TV and tell Ugandans that the elections are sham, people should not participate, and when they decided to participate as owners of the party, they also take positions in those elections which they are calling sham. Why don't we go and mobilize our members for the right cause? For instance, if we think Amriat and Nandala have failed on their part to run the party, why we have a meeting of delegates to elect leaders on the 6th, which they are also still contesting. Why don't we go and do the same things that we have done before and vote them out? Why do we want to stage a coup at the party, really? Why don't we, for instance, Salaam has never contested as a party president. She could offer herself also as a presidential candidate, campaign, convince the delegates, and participate. Now, she talked about the delegates conferences that we've been having. And I have been in this party, I have witnessed all those delegates conferences. It is very true that the mandate to convene the delegates conference and national council is lies with the chairman.
The chairperson, yes.
Yes, the chairperson of the party. Now, the delegates conferences that we've been having, which have been combined with the elections, are those where we've been having other items that are supposed to be to help the party planning, to help the party run. You see, the purpose of the delegates conference, first of all, to align policies, to maybe pass the budgets and discuss like work plans. The other time we had a strategic plan. But in an event that all those are taken care of, and we have an election coming up, you know it very well that even this advert which I have, the notice for which these people have been again calling a delegates conference, if I may read just a paragraph that invites, it says, this is to announce that the ongoing general elections of the party, being concluded at all levels, shall culminate in a meeting of the delegates, whose business will be to elect members of the National Executive Committee, provided for under Article 21 of the party constitution. This very constitution gives mandate to the Electoral Commission to conduct all election processes and have them concluded. When we are having elections from the grassroots at village, it is Electoral Commission which is superintendent over those elections. We went to the parish, it was Electoral Commission. Sub-county, constituency, and then district. It was still Electoral Commission. What is wrong with the Electoral Commission concluding an activity at national level in a similar manner like the one that was done, the way it was handled at village level? What is wrong with that? My own understanding, this constitution is subordinate to the mother constitution
of the nation.
And it does not have all things. It is not elaborate. You can see it is a very small thing here. But there are some situations where you evoke logic. I'll give you an example. Museveni is the president of this country. There is no way he can call for a meeting to prepare election processes in this country. That is why there is an independent electoral commission, which is now headed by Justice Byabakama. Our Justice Byabakama in the FDC is Toterebuka Bamwenda. He's the chairperson, he's the electoral chief of election in the FDC. And it is supposed to be independent. Now, the Electoral Commission is convening, actually is calling, let me even put it down without putting a lot of English, is inviting candidates and voters to come and conclude an electoral process. What is wrong with that? Because even the chairman, Virigwa, his term of office is supposed to end, meaning that he's supposed to go to Najana Nkumbi and pick nomination forms.
But Toterebuka Bamwenda, as chairperson of the Electoral Commission within the party, must act within the confines of the guidelines offered by the Constitution.
He is.
So in calling for elections, I want to understand the contestation at the heart of this is the fact that two people want to call gatherings that will discuss what they don't want against the other. Is it the case at the end of the day?
No, sir.
No. What is it? Tell us what within FDC is failing to have Nandala Mafabi, Patrick Amriat, Semoju Ibrahim Nganda, Elias Lukwago, and others to look at what should be done within the confines of the Constitution. Because
it's the disabling of the party organs where decisions are supposed to be taken. The National Executive Committee. Simple. It's not rocket science.
The delegates conference can take care of that?
It has to, because that's the supreme body of the party.
And the chairman can call it?
Yes, and he has. And so it will happen.
What is the contestation now? Centenary?
The chairman has called the delegates conference. A delegates conference where the chief executive of the party is not
one thing is
invited, where the general secretary, the secretary general is actually the secretary to that meeting.
Yes. Is not invited.
Is not invited.
He is invited. The notice is to invite all the members of the
and a budget, by the way,
one thing is
was
clear.
directed to the party for funding of that delegates conference.
I'm afraid I'm going to have to go for a break. One thing is for sure, what is happening within the Forum for Democratic Change is well known to the party leaders more than anybody else. But like I said, the crisis of leadership is all that we see. The leaders are failing to take the party forward. And when I say leaders, do not assume I'm only talking about the president and the secretary general in their embattled state. It speaks even to the likes of Semoju Nganda, who is, of course, doing his mandate as spokesperson, and everyone else, including Elias Lukwago and the opinion leaders like the party founder, Kizza Besigye. I'll be right back for a little bit of looking around for solutions on how the Forum for Democratic Change should go forward. It's not my role, but we should. Welcome back. You're watching Morning at NTV, and we are in the Kickstarter. We are discussing the Forum for Democratic Change and the latest twists in the political storm in Uganda's largest and most formidable opposition political party. A delegates conference is due to be held within days, and some of the issues that are going to be discussed have already caused a bit of furor. Some do not agree with what is going to be discussed. There are also rumors, speculation, and things we cannot readily verify as NTV that some leaders are going to be ousted. Let me return to the studio and speak to our guests. Robert Centenary, Honorable. He's the chairperson of the Kasese Municipality FDC chapter, according to him. We also have Honorable Salaam Musumba, who is joining us. She is one of the founding members of the Forum for Democratic Change.
I'm also one of them.
And she is regarded by Centenary as grandmother. We love the whole aspect of respect. Let me ask a question that I believe is fundamental.
Yes.
Retired Colonel Dr. Kizza Besigye
Yes.
is a powerful figure within the nation's political space. He is a pivotal one within the Forum for Democratic Change.
Yes.
He's been accused he has also been victim and told that creating an alternative power center at Katonga has brought some of the problems to the fore. We understand that he is heavily invested in Elias Lukwago, who is the chairman of Central FDC, ahead of 2026. So much so that the ousting, perhaps, of Patrick Amuriat creates the way for the emergence of Elias Lukwago to become president of the Forum for Democratic Change. Salaam Musumba, you're an insider by all standards. Is Lukwago seeking to become president?
That's not the question.
What is the question?
The question is Katonga.
Katonga.
Katonga is a creation of Najja Nkumbi, and Katonga is part of Najja Nkumbi. During the tenure of Honorable Muntu, a resolution of NEC was passed after we had been attacked by Kale Kaihura, and they had taken all our documents and our equipment, that we set up a people's government that would be housed in Katonga, Plot 6. And why Katonga? Because one of the founder members, Chairman Chapa Karuhanga, has an office there. So we were sharing an office with a founder member whose entity, political entity, had joined together with PAFO, Parliamentary Advocacy Forum, and Reform Agenda with his NDC to form FDC. Okay? And so Katonga is the cabinet. And so Dr. Besigye did not impose himself on Katonga or on the party. All this was decided within the organs of the party and NEC, for sure.
Can you explain why retired Colonel Dr. Kizza Besigye completely shunned Najja Nkumbi and decided to do all engagements regarding the party he founded at Katonga? If at all Katonga was a creation of Najja Nkumbi, why couldn't he liaise and relate very...
Of course the liaison mechanisms are there.
We haven't
There's
seen
a reporting. You don't have to say, sir. They are there. And if you checked the minutes of the party, you will find the reports. But we don't transact politics on the street in a normal environment.
But again, the politics of the day are down to the optics. If you cannot be seen to be doing what
you don't see everything. You don't see everything.
Okay.
But there must be implied terms, even if you don't see impliedly.
So what do you see? Because I'm telling you the mechanisms. This is intentional. You see, the intention is to break Dr. Besigye. And there have been different actors. Yes, that's the plot.
Who is breaking him?
It's the plot. And so you find every fault to dump on him, you know? And they have even told you how he's the problem. He's not the president of the party. He has not stopped the president of the party from executing his mandate. He's not the Secretary General. He has not stopped the Secretary General from executing his constitutional mandate. He's not even the chair. He's part of the elders team that is invited as an actor and as a person who has been at the heart of building this party called FDC.
Are you aware
Yeah.
that retired Colonel Dr. Kizza Besigye has
Yes.
been requested on several occasions
Yes.
to offer guidance along the aegis of the Elders Council,
Yes.
but he hasn't been able, so much so that the
No,
other day...
that's a lie.
Yeah, it's not a
That's
lie.
a lie.
We saw and we read how
Yes.
these issues were reported in the media, to the extent that Frank Nawiso was advised to seek the opinion of retired Colonel Kizza Besigye on certain matters,
Okay.
indicating that perhaps there wasn't a mechanism
I'll tell you
in
something.
which the two are speaking.
We had an agency called Change Initiative. Okay, as the arm that mobilizes civic activities, and Dr. Besigye appointed Nawiso to head it. For years, Dr. Nawiso was heading the Change Initiative. Dr. Nawiso contested for mayorship in Jinja, and Dr. Besigye assigned him one of his vehicles to do the running around. So when didn't Nawiso find a blockade to see Dr. Besigye?
Let me come to Robert
Please.
Centenary, and perhaps his perspective will help enlighten and make me understand things better. Retired Colonel Dr. Kizza Besigye has the ability to end some of the troubles within the Forum for Democratic Change by, first and foremost, being forthright in the statements that he puts forward on what is what and who he supports. He has supported Patrick Amuriat before, we all know, but then again there was a fallout that saw him now widely believed to be fronting Elias Lukwago. Do you believe Kizza Besigye has a greater part of the solution to the FDC malaise?
Obviously he does. And when I talk about, let me first talk about the people's government.
Okay.
The people's government, yes, was a creation of the FDC in Najanankumbi after an election that had been defrauded. Our victory had been stolen in 2016. So a resolution was taken that we swear in a government, a people's government. And Dr. Besigye actually took oath, if you remember.
I remember that.
As the president, the people's president. And normally, constitutionally, or even common knowledge, you can only be a leader for a time frame. So that people's government, with its president, the mandate was supposed to end in 2021. When, you see, he was supposed to be elected in 2016 to 2021. That's when he contested as president. So literally, 2021, 2026, we had a people's president. That was our president, the one we elected. Now, when a new election took place that he did not participate,
he didn't see the
impliedly, you cannot become president forever.
He ceased to be president.
Because the reason why he was made to swear in as a president is that he won an election and it was stolen. And we said we are going to have him sworn in as the people's president. It did not, the minute was very clear. It was not a permanent power center.
In
So
other words, it continued to be.
It outlived its relevancy because there is a new leadership. Maybe if Amriat's election had been stolen because he was our flag bearer, he would be now our people's president.
So what you're suggesting is a people's president stayed. There wasn't anything that was done to indicate that Kizza Besigye was no longer people's president.
He would only stay under a coup arrangement. not an election. Logically.
Okay.
We have now decided, since Museveni has participated and again stolen this election, we are staging a coup, and this is our cabinet. Then we run a parallel government to his. But now, Dr. Besigye, our first founding party president, by the way, our elder that we respect so much, the reason why I still believe that he has the solution to this problem, if you have listened to all the press conferences that he has held, you will see that there is a problem. At one point, painfully, I heard him saying, these people have come to my place 3 times asking for forgiveness, and I have given them conditions. I am a parent, and I understand the Bible a little bit, especially on the issue of the prodigal son. If you are a parent and you have a disagreement with your children, maybe your son, and they extend an olive branch to you, they say, Daddy, we are sorry. Whatever happened between us, I think we can talk and try to resolve it. Me as a parent, what I would do if I were a doctor, I would bring them to my chest and said, oh, my sons, welcome back home. This is what I exactly expected from you. But what happened? Then we start from there. But if I say, I start giving them conditions, I say, okay, now that you have come, you should be on your knees and come crawling on your belly from the gate up to here. You're putting those children in a combative mode. They will go and say, okay, come mbaya mbaya. In my Lukonzo language, we call it vyake vyake. Zake, maybe you people zake. Now, that was an opportunity that we missed to have a dialogue with these parties, where one party has reached out and the other one is rejecting the olive branch. But instead decides to now call a presser and codename it Tuja. Now the Tuja has shifted from Kampala, it went to Kabarole, it went to Hoima, and different places. But does that Tuja offer solutions to the impending problems that we have now? The question is no. And why is it difficult for Doctor, as our elder, to say, okay guys, I think we should cease fire. Now that you offered to come and meet, let us meet. And we can look for, you see, there are people, historicals of this party who left, but they still have a goodwill for the party. People like Rosindana. We have some elders also who are still within the party. And we sit at the round table, instead of lashing out at each other, saying this one should be... because you see, if you say we should put a vote of no confidence in Amriat and Nandala, that is not what Ugandans are craving for. You're talking about a transitional leadership in the party. Is the transitional leadership in FDC the one going to improve the welfare of Ugandans? No.
All right, Honorable Centenary, I'm afraid I'm out of time. Allow us give our grandmother the opportunity to wrap this up for us and perhaps guide us on what could be going on next within the Forum for Democratic Change.
Well, I just want to say, listening to Centenary saddens me, because as an intelligent person, his concoction is really sad. I have just chosen to watch and understand what I've been seeing from afar.
Guide your son, your grandson.
Closely.
And the problem is that he has not given himself to understand what has been happening backstage. And all those mediation efforts are still on the table. Are still on the table. If you haven't known, they're still on the table and they're happening.
Okay.
If people, because it's a governance issue, internal governance issue, that has led us to this, internal governance. making the party work and work for the change, the spirit of the party, the heart, the foundation, what led us to this. And why must we defend it with everything we have? All right. Honorable and Salaam. So, I invite Ugandans to tell you that, listen, the party you love is in trouble. And
all will be well. And
we want to invite you to offer counsel. I was at a bar one time, and Honorable Naduli said, Salaam, I want to see you. I want to offer you some solutions, because a country is not safe without a credible opposition. And so I like that he still trusts that we are able to, but please, delegates to the National Delegates Conference, I'm confirming to you that the Delegates Conference will take place on 19th.
Where have you got the money from?
Okay. No.
And we shall take care of the event, because we were not made by money.
Okay, thank you very much, Salaam Musumba.
Without money, we didn't want to make a bank.
Thank you very much.
We made a political party, and we have the money.
And thank you to Robert Centenary for